Now let's move to cash flow forecast. The cash flow forecast, this is one of my favorite new, there's a couple things that really stick out. This is one of my favorite new features and functions in the new version. And when we talk about reasons to upgrade, cash flow forecast to me gives a reason to upgrade. Now, this is only relevant if you have cash flow issues and you're even concerned about cash flow in your business. All right, that's a little bit of a joke because we know everybody is concerned about cash flow forecast in their business. And what this does is this will go through the product, and it will, and through my cash flow, you're able to set up the cash flow. It's going to suggest lines in, and just here's a quick flow chart of the different processes in it. And it's always better to look at it. I think is more interesting than a flow chart. So I'm going to click on cash flow forecasts, and I can have as many cash flow forecasts in here as I want. And if I click on cash flow worksheet, that's going to bring up this worksheet. And just like other areas in NAV, I'm going to suggest worksheet lines. And what that's going to do is that's going to say, hey, what do I want to bring into this worksheet? I want to bring sales orders, receivables, purchase orders, payables, etc. And I click OK. And that's going to go through the whole system and build this worksheet of potential inflows and outflows from my cash accounts. And just like other worksheets in NAV, I can modify things from here. For example, I know this customer, he's not going to send in $33,000. He's going to send in $10,000. So I can tweak this from there because I know what's happening in real life. In addition, I have another customer invoice that it suggests, and what I'm going to do is go there and I'm going to delete that out of there because I know that's not going to get paid. So I can make my own manual changes to the worksheet here. I click on register, and what that does is it in effect posts it. And then I'm going to go back to my roll center. And in the upper right-hand side, I have my cash flow there. And with the cash flow, that's going to show my bank balance over time. It's also going to show all my ins and outs. And as I hover over my ins and outs per day, it's going to show where that number comes from. Now, if I look over to the right, I got a problem because I'm going to go negative cash flow-wise. And just as we saw before, I can drag and drop over that period of time to get a zoomed-in view of that. And I can see that on the 13th, I have some payables to pay, and that's going to take me negative. So I'm going to click into that, and it's going to show the two payables I have to pay on that day. I have one relatively small one and one relatively large one, and I know I have to pay the large one because I know the vendor. And on that smaller one, I'm going to actually move that out a week so that I don't go negative. So just like anywhere else in NAV, I'm going to go up to the Show button, and that's essentially going to do a Navigate. I'm going to edit the list, and this is my vendor ledger entry. And I see the due date. I'm just going to move that due date out a week. So you can see how great the cash flow forecast is. I can get a graphical view of my bank balances. I can see when things go negative, and then I can go and just adjust things on the fly in the rest of the system. What a great benefit it is to be able to do this all automatically at the touch of a button. Every CFO I know has this in Excel, and they spend hours updating it, and now we can just do it with a couple clicks of a button. And when we do the inflows and outflows, here's a quick chart of what it does on the calculations.